It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Monday, July 29th. Are we feeling the summer blues? Are we feeling them like I am? When I say blues, I don't mean like sad. I just mean like we're all in summer break. I mean, I don't know if you feel that way, but I do. I feel like I am living my summer vacation and it's like the parents are out of town, but really it's the kids out of town. So I am just enjoying my life, chilling. The city is empty. I don't know where you guys live, but Los Angeles feels quite empty. It's lovely, but I'm here. I did take a much needed vacation last week. Thursday and Friday, I was out, and I am back. And we have a lot to talk about, including last night's Real Housewives of New Jersey. We can talk Big Brother because I'm pretty caught up. We can talk a lot about other Housewives news and reality TV news that popped up, plus like what I'm watching and what I'm excited about. There's a lot going on. We can always find something to talk about here on Daily Dose of Donna. So sit tight, get cozy. Here is Daily Dose of Donna. Thank you, everyone, for whoever subscribed to Patreon. Of course, I release a Sunday Funday episode every Sunday. This is like a kind of a new thing that I started doing a few weeks ago, and I really like a Sunday episode. It gives me a time to kind of like go over things that I missed since Friday. I get to talk about my weekend. It's nice. I think it's working out. So as long as I'm not traveling or doing anything else, it's a perfect time. So make sure to jump in there. Yesterday, I talked all about Ballerina Farm. And like, honestly, the Ballerina Farm thing took over my feed this weekend. It really did. And I'm curious from all of you that did listen to my Patreon, did you agree with my take or completely disagree with my take on Ballerina Farm? It's a very controversial issue. I know there's a lot of people that really believe that this is, in case you guys missed the story, I'm not going to go into detail, but there's a very famous TikToker, YouTuber, content creator, Instagram, or whatever. She has millions and millions and millions of followers. And she is what people put her under this category of trad wife. Trad wife stands for traditional wife. And essentially what that means is she basically lives on a farm, cooks the food that she grows, raises animals and children and doesn't rely on modern technology to do all the things. I'm sure she really still does, though. The difference with Hannah Needleman, Ballerina Farm, is that people find her controversial because they have found that she almost cosplays as a trad wife because she's actually very wealthy. Well, I should say her husband is an heir to JetBlue. And so they have a lot of money. And she has a $12,000 stove and she has 8 kids, which is actual, like, I don't even, anyone out there that has 8 kids, especially they're 8 kids, 12 and under. I believe the oldest one is 12 and she's only 37. So if you can only imagine how challenging that probably is, she always has a baby on her chest, but she has 8 kids and no nannies. She does have them homeschooled. So they're in a school with a teacher, the older kids at least, for a chunk of every day. But a lot of people have found her story to be somewhat of an oppressed woman based on this article that was just written about her. And shocker, I have a controversial take on it in the sense that I don't necessarily believe or agree that she is living an oppressed life. I think that she is married to an asshole. And I mean, I don't know if he is or not. He seems maybe he's great in certain ways, but he seems a little bit controlling as a husband. But you have to understand, and I don't obviously speak for Mormon. I'm not Mormon, just in case you're wondering. I know that a lot of you guys have been on the fence wondering if I'm Mormon. Because when you hang out with me and when you watch Daily Dose of Donna, when you're here and you see everything I do, it feels very Mormon content, right? I'm not Mormon. But she is. And so in a traditional Mormon household, this is kind of the way it is. Now, there's going to be stories of a lot of women who have escaped this lifestyle. I say escape because literally, I did watch a TikTok last night that I was engrossed in. And this was a woman who also said, she's like, I was Ballerina Farms. I was her. I was married to a very, very wealthy man. We were Mormon. We had many kids, and I didn't have any choices in the matter and this and that. When I finally decided to leave, like I guess he wasn't physically abusive, she said, but he was controlling and all of that. When she finally decided to leave, she ended up getting all of her money taken and all of her choices taken. And she considers it like that she's bullied by him and all his Mormon friends, this other woman. So I'm sure there's cases in all of these stories where there's people that really do suffer under the hands of their husbands. Like, I believe that that is 100% possible. However, it, I don't know. I mean, it's just a gut feeling. And I don't know if that's me just like wanting the best for her, but she has definitely been creating content for years, years. And she has millions. And I'm saying like upwards of probably 20 million followers across all platforms, maybe even more. This woman makes so much money doing what she does. And, just so you guys can get an idea of who she is, I'll just play a little bit of her most recent TikTok that she created, probably, yes, is in, you know, my guess is in the uh response to a lot of the bad that came out. This article was written by a woman who obviously had an agenda. And I felt for her. I mean, she came in there and she immediately said, you can't get her alone because there's always her kids are always kind of trying to get her information, and the husband is trying to answer for her and this and that. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't know about you, but whenever I tried to have any conversations with babies and toddlers that weren't just thrown onto iPads, it's impossible, right? We all know that feeling. So that's hard for me to really say is like, oh, the poor woman is never able to. But let me just play her most recent TikTok, which is not in response to this wave of criticism, but almost is a little bit in a way. It's kind of like, here is here is what's going on in my life. And then I want you guys to kind of just get obsessed with the story and deep dive like I have. Here it is.
When we started to farm, I was swept up in the beauty of learning to make food from scratch. It makes sense why I soon fell in love with the idea of a family milk cow. I was making my own butter, cheese, ice cream, and yogurt. As I began to explore this world, to cook and invent, I needed a way to share these products with more than just friends and family. I needed a dairy. So 2 years of planning and then an additional 2 years of construction, and we finally did it. And soon we'll be sharing these products with all of you. So for date night tonight, Daniel and I snuck over to the dairy. The temperature was perfect. Little Flora Joe was giggling, and the cows were gorgeous. It's the world we created, and I couldn't love it more.
Okay. Obviously, she's saying that intentionally. She wants everyone to understand that this is the world she created and she couldn't love it more. No one knows what happens in people's homes. No one, right? The only person that knows what's really happening in that house are the two of them. And it's very possible that she is struggling in some capacity and she does have somewhat of a controlling husband and this and this and that. Now, Michelle brings up a point about who is owning all of their finances, who is in charge. Now, she is personally making so much money from her content. Now, I don't know if all that money goes straight into a joint account. Does she have a personal account? I don't know. My guess is probably not, just because she is a Mormon woman raised in a living in a very traditional sense of home. So unless she had some like private account, I don't personally believe that she is hiding money away from her husband. I don't know. I mean, I imagine it's like a family pot. I don't know. Mark says date night at the dairy is not on my wish list. And it's really, really not on my wish list either. But her life is not for everyone. Like, I could not and would not and will not ever be content living with 8 children on a farm. It's just not who I am. I like my life. I like having my independence and my freedom. I like the fact that, you know, I can hire help for my kids and get epidurals and all of that. But just because the story is that she was a ballerina at Juilliard and then quickly kind of left that life to marry him and have babies right off the bat, and then she no longer is able to be a ballerina. The one thing that I can keep thinking of is it has nothing to do with the fact that she lives on a farm or she's Mormon. Usually, when you are a ballerina, like your career, a professional ballerina, if you're going to Juilliard and you want to be a professional ballerina, like your career is going to end at a certain point. Young, I don't believe, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't believe that ballerinas have like a very long professional career. I think that you can always be a ballerina at any age in a hobby. But when you're pregnant, when when you're having kids, like I don't know how feasible being a ballerina is for the rest of your life. But this whole farm is called the Ballerina Farms. It is 100% her creation. She has created this world for herself based on her content. And they don't need the money. He has a ton of money. They come from a ton of money. So it's hard to know what is true and what is not. And there's ooh, everyone, we have some breaking news. This is going to change the topic. Andrew Dominguez has some breaking news. Phaedra has confirmed she is returning to Real Housewives of Atlanta. Guys, Ballerina Farms, Schmallerina Farms. Let's talk Phaedra. I want Phaedra to go on to Ballerina Farms and be on the farm. That should be the next season of Ultimate Girls Trip is at Ballerina Farms and see them all milking their own cows. This is exciting. Atlanta needed an OG back. We needed some fresh, good stories about any of these housewives. So this is very exciting. Do. Oh, hey, Matt. Do. Thank you so much for the breaking news story. We are very excited about that. Okay. Let's take that moment to just move on to another story really fast. And this is so exciting. Speaking of Mormons, I love me some Mormon TikTok, and I have obsessed over all the Mormon wives. I don't know if you've known about the Utah Mormon girls who are all like, there was a crazy scandal about a few of them being involved in some like wild orgies a couple of years ago on TikTok. This is a story that I don't know anything about and I'm dying to know more. And they have a show coming out on Hulu. It's official. They posted it about it in their on their Instagram, this one girl who's part of it. And she basically is saying that the show on Hulu about being a conservative Mormon housewife. It's called The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and it's coming on Hulu on September 6th. This is a joy. This is so wonderful because we need some scandal. We need some good scandal. And look at these girls. Look at these girls. They're all just like these beautiful, pretty girls that are going to be sharing all of their secrets. And all of these women are the ones that are on TikTok and all they do every day are the trends and the dances and the get ready with me. And you wonder, how do they also have kids when they're all choreographed, they're all together? It's wild. I don't understand their life. I could not be more separate from their life. And yet I want to know it all. Right? So everyone is in on it. Oh, they were swingers, not orgies. Swinger. Same. I mean, I guess not same. Swingers is when you switch couples, switch couples. And orgies is when you join couples. Does anyone want to do a special episode of Daily Dose of Donna where we talk about the difference between swinging and orgies? Mark Ward, are you up for that challenge? Mark says the Mormon ladies that didn't make the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City now have somewhere to go. And for that, we are all so grateful. Speaking of, another thing that I'm watching on TV, because obviously things are slow AF since Love Island wrapped its season. And the Olympics are on, but I spoke about it on Patreon a little bit. I'm kind of struggling a little bit with the Olympics. Maybe it's because I feel so annoyed that they're always on my TV from morning till night. Like Lance lives on those, like the four sports. So I have this. I love watching certain sports, but I miss my shows. I miss my stories. I miss my housewives. I miss the days of Bravo when Sunday through Thursday there was a good show on. Do you guys remember those days? It's like we had it so good. We had it so good, and now it's just gone. And will we ever get it back? Right now, we just have Jersey on Sunday. We only have one more episode tomorrow. I mean, next week. There's not even the reunion, right? And then we have OC on Thursday, which is really good. Other than that, don't even think that Below Deck Med and Million Dollar Listing can even hold a candle, right? Can't even hold a candle. I did talk a little bit about Below Deck. I'm sorry, Million Dollar Listing on Patreon last night about how I think a lot of it is very fake, and I only noticed it really this season. But it's gonna be an interesting next couple weeks. Now, I do know we have Salt Lake City at some point coming back soon, Southern Charm at some point coming back soon. The Secret Lives of Mormon Housewives is gonna come back soon. We've got some good stuff, okay? But August is gonna be tricky. August is going to be slow, and I need you guys to stick with me through the hard times, okay? There's gonna be goods, there's gonna be bads. You take the good, you take the bad. You take them both, and there you have August of 2024. So we will just have to get through it together. And luckily for us, there's always gonna be a story about Kyle and Mauricio because, yes. Can someone explain to me how Kyle Richards has the ability to she has every single publication on speed dial, I'm convinced. Kyle Richards single-handedly runs the media. The stories that are coming out about Kyle Richards right now are so, to me, they feel so molded and produced so that Kyle Richards is looking like the scorned, sad, heartbroken wife who's going through this separation, this and this and that. What? What is happening? Now, just to give you guys like a refresher. Kyle Richards ended the marriage. Kyle Richards asked for the divorce. This was well over a year ago. July of 2023 was when they officially separated. They asked for the divorce during the time she asked for the divorce during the time when they were filming Million Dollar Listing, etc. Not Million Dollar Listing, Buying Beverly Hills. Mauricio moved out. Okay? He moved out into a $7 million condo, beautiful, stunning penthouse, bachelor pad where he can, dance and do his reels and hook up with all the ladies. He's out. She's in the house with the 700 dogs. Some of the kids are still there. I think Portia's still around. And this was her choice. Like, I'm not saying that that Mauricio didn't deserve to get left. Like, I believe Mauricio cheated and I believe Kyle had had enough. But I also believe that Kyle said, I want out of this marriage. I believe a happier life for me is outside of this marriage. So can someone please explain to me why a year later, Mauricio goes out to Mykonos and hooks up with a little chickie named Nikita Khan. We don't know anything else about their relationship. And all of a sudden the stories is, Kathy has to pick Kyle up. Poor Kyle. She's really struggling. We have to pick her up. She's going through a tough time. And then the next story is they have a $6,000 tax lien, which I was dying of laughter on Patreon yesterday because a $6,000 tax lien for someone in the financial category of Kyle and Mauricio is like me owing a lip gloss. Like it's $6,000 is absolutely chump change for the Umanskis. So I'm so surprised that this was even a story. But all of a sudden now the stories are Kyle is struggling. She is struggling through this. I mean, this is page 6 stories. Heartbroken Kyle is being comforted by her children at the farmer's market. Heartbroken because they're struggling watching the dad, flaunt his new life and his ladies and the 6,000 tax lien. I'm sorry. Number one, the $6,000 tax lien is not even in her brain. Like that was paid off yesterday in 2 seconds. They have absolutely no issue paying off $6,000. Number two, she's at the freaking farmer's market with her 2 kids and one of her kids' sons. She's living what is just like a typical Sunday. I don't know about you guys, but if you go to the farmer's market with your kids, does it look like you're so heartbroken? Like she's literally just living her life, going to the farmer's market, and they're writing these stories. Heartbroken, heartbroken Kyle Richards is being comforted by her children. There's also a story that I saw today that it's all over. I mean, literally, if you search Kyle Richards, it's like story after story after story. And they're all about the same thing. Who whose butt is she kissing to always get press? So the stories are constant, right? Kyle Richards is sick of Mauricio Umansky showing off his women. Kyle Richards and had financial struggles. This is what it says. Kyle Richards' daughters rally around her amid the heartbreaking news that Mauricio is hooking up with another chick. What? What? Uh, Patience is wearing thin with Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky showing off his new ladies. This doesn't make sense to me. Kyle is the one that went off and started living her own life way before Mauricio did. If you watched the show or if you were watching any of the stuff on page 6, Daily Mail or whatever, Kyle was the one that like upped and decided to leave her home every weekend, go on tour with Morgan, start producing this documentary that we'll never see one scene of. Actually, I would love to know when that documentary is going to be released. Does anyone have eyes on Morgan Wade's documentary? Kyle was the one that was going to all the festivals and the parties and the retreats and the, all the things that we were saying. Where is Portia? Kyle is living her best life for the first time, I think, ever. And yet the story everywhere is the fact that it's like this poor girl is struggling so badly. And if those daughters, Portia's the only one under 18, but if Alexia, Sophia, and Farrah's not Mauricio's biological daughter, but still, she works with him at the agency. He's very much a father figure to her. They're very close. If any of those women and Portia are mad at their dad for being photographed kissing one girl, not multiple, I don't know about you guys, but that was the only person I ever saw Mauricio out with. Like actually kissing. If any of those girls had the actual balls to say, Dad, that is so effed up that you're out there living your life and dating now that you're single, about to go through a divorce and living separately from mom. That is so wrong. There's no way. There is no way. These women would never tell. Like, Mauricio is allowed to hook up with other women. Because that's what happens when you ask for a divorce. If Mauricio broke up with Kyle, if Mauricio completely shattered Kyle's life, if Mauricio pulled what so many of these housewives women have had with their husbands, where their husbands just up and leave them after many years. Like, for example, I was just rewatching season 7 of RHONY when Ramona is like Mauricio. Ramona and Mauricio hooking up. That would be funny. When Ramona was like, Mario, he's he's decided to leave. He's not well. He's not well in his head. Because Mario decided, like, I'm done with you, Ramona, and I don't want to be married to you anymore. I want to go out and make out with other girls. That would make more sense that would be effed up of him. But this is not, it doesn't work. You can't ask for the divorce and then be upset that they move on. You can't ask for fame and then be upset that people are taking pictures of you. You can't ask for success and then be upset that people are taxing you for the money that you're making. Like, this is what's happening when you ask for a divorce. Mauricio is a huge, like, I would say ladies' man anyway, but like, come on. What single woman wouldn't want to hook up with Mauricio? Honestly, he's handsome, cheesy, yes, but handsome, in good shape, and successful. Like, to me, he seems like a good person. I think that he probably is like getting laid every night. As he should. As he should. And as Andrew says, what man wouldn't want to hook up with Mauricio? Trust me, he's got them lining out the door. Lining. So it bothers me. The Kyle playing a victim story, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want it anymore. I thought Kyle was going to come into this season and be like, single baby. But I don't think that that's the case. Okay. Something I was just about to say really fast, and now my brain went completely. Oh, Ramona. I brought up Ramona Singer, and I have to tell you, Ramona Singer is one of those people that she's so politically incorrect. She's so offensive. She said everything wrong. She's called people the wrong names. She is totally someone that, like, she's the embarrassing aunt at the dinner party. She's the person that talks badly to servers. She's the person that speaks out of her ass, all those things. But rewatching season 7, I really freaking love Ramona on my TV. I find every single moment that she's inappropriate more and more enjoyable. And she posted on her Instagram on Friday night something that can only be a Ramona moment. It can really only be something that Ramona Singer does. And I think we have to look at this together. Oh no, did she delete it? She deleted it. Oh, I am so sad. I really wish I took a screenshot. So on Friday night, such a bummer. On Friday night, I'm about to go to bed. I'm laying in bed on my phone and I see a picture of Ramona looking very beautiful, natural. It's just a selfie, no like crazy makeup, no body shots. She's in a robe or something. She's probably a few drinks in, I would imagine. And she takes a picture of herself and she goes, most people would think I'd be in Mykonos or in Saint Tropez or in, St. Lucia or whatever. Like, she's listing all these places. But believe it or not, I'm in New Jersey. Ha 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 ha. Everyone in the comments was like, wait, Ramona, what? You're in New Jersey? Like, why are you making it sound like such a crazy, crazy thing that you're in New Jersey? Now, the comments were the best part, and it's obviously it got taken down. But okay, so now page 6. Now, page 6 hates Ramona Singer. We know that. Page 6 is the reason why Ramona got fired from, I think, from doing like press on the girls' trip Legacy, because they had released that she wrote to one of the page 6 um interviewers or a reporter something about using the word whatever. Page 6 does not like Ramona, okay? So the most recent, I just Googled Ramona Singer, New Jersey, and the first article that comes up saying on page 6, rude. Ramona Singer slammed for dissing state of New Jersey as not St. Bart's, not NYC, not Capri. Pretentious. Okay, so I'll show you guys the article because here's the picture that she posted. I mean, I died of laughter. I just found it funny. But this is the picture that she posted. Like I said, in a robe, no real makeup, no special. And she said, have you ever gone out of your element? Well, guess where I am now. Not Hamptons, not Aspen, not St. Bart's, not NYC, not Capri. I am in NJ. Having the best time. It's not the place, but the people you are with. And then Melissa Gorga responded, I think New Jersey is fantastic. So people, of course, and then look, she posted on her Instagram stories, who knew I could ever be in New Jersey? And she spelled new, N-E-W. She ended up pulling the post, and as a Ramona singer, only on track to be Ramona singer is that she put her foot in her mouth and she offended someone, and she's just such a it's such a Ramona move, because she was trying to say, like, look how amazing this is. I'm in New Jersey. I love it. I think she was talking positively about New Jersey, but she's such a dingbat in the way that she says things. And it's just such, like, honestly, if you say anything stupid from now on, I'm just going to say you're Ramonaing it. You're turtle timing it through. It's like or Teresa, like when Teresa said on her podcast, when she introduced Vicky, and she said, Vicky Gungelson. She can't say Vicky Gungelson. Or when Teresa said last night, she said, what did she say on the show? It's an ohm. This is such an ohm. Instead of omen. Teresa. Oh, we'll get into Teresa in just a moment. No, Lee. Lee said it's not new, as in New Jersey. No, she said, who knew I was in New Jersey? And when she said who knew, that should be spelled, I think, the K, unless I am being Ramona right now. So Ramona, I mean, all I can say is Avery. Imagine being Ramona's daughter and constantly being like, Mom, why'd you say that? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Now, speaking of old housewives, this is kind of exciting. And this story came out last weekend, or I think on Friday, but of course I didn't have a show, that Luann de Lesseps and Shannon Beador, plus more, are starring on a dating spinoff, Love Hotel, where suitors vie for their affections. Yes, we are marrying Real Housewives and The Bachelor, and I am so excited. I am so excited for this. So far, what we know about this is Real Housewives stars Luann de Lesseps, Shannon Beador, Giselle Bryant, and Ashley Darby are about to lead the cast of a dating spinoff. This is called Love Hotel. And it's basically, all we know is that it will welcome a wide variety of suitors to compete for the reality star's affections. All four women will have to choose between a variety of men on Love Hotel. It will stream on Peacock. It will be filmed Cabo San Lucas in September and is projected to be available on Peacock in 2025. I already love this show. I don't care if it's good, bad. I don't care if the men on the show are the lamest loser. Jerry, all I know is this: Gary from Golden Bachelor will show up at that hotel. I don't know if he has a choice. I don't know if he's been invited. But knock knock. Luann. Oh, golly, Luann, you're looking mighty elegant in that outfit, Luann. Uh, can we go talk? Tell me a little bit about your trust funds, Luann. Gary is the biggest grifter of all. He's the one that's going to end up open. Gary will take any of them. He's like, oh, you were on a Housewives show? Let's do it. Now, we know that Sonia is not there. A lot of people want to know, where is Sonia going to be? No idea. She wasn't invited. So supposedly it's just these four. If it were up to me, I would pull. I guess Giselle is no longer dating, and I didn't know this, the Jason kid from Summer House. I forget his last name. I guess they're broken up. But if it was up to me and I could do any housewife, I guess they'd have to be former housewives. No, Giselle is still on the show, isn't she? Who would you put on this show? I would put on, no, Tinsley's already married. I was like, I would love a Dorinda. What are you doing here without Dorinda? I would love a Dorinda. I would love a Sonia, but I think she's too much of a liability. Who else can we put on that show that would just be like good OG Real Housewives women? I'm trying to think. Any of those original Beverly Hills women are kind of all taken, aren't they? Yeah, why isn't Kyle on there? Oh, yeah, I don't think she's single. Anyway, I don't really know who else would be on that show, but this will be a good one. And I already vote that Luann gets them all in bed. Luann is going to be the one who's going to hook up with the most. There is absolutely no way that Shannon Bedore is going to have game. I don't think Shannon Bedore has game. I think Shannon's going to be like, I don't really know which one to choose. Right? It's going to be Luann. She's going to get them all. I mean, Luann will hook up with not only the guys, the suitors, she's going to find that chef, right? That chef is going to come into bed with her. Lucy says Portia, Sutton, and Kate. Which Kate? Are you thinking Kate Chastain? Sutton would be really good. Seeing Sutton date, but we've had to go through that already. Garcelle would be a fun get for something like that. But I think they're only going for former housewives. But I swear, Giselle is still on the show. Did they not officially let Giselle go? I think they only officially let Robin go. Yeah, so it is current housewives. Okay. If you're a man watching, which I know there's like 6 of you, and probably all 6 of you like men. But if you're a man watching, which one would you choose? To actually not just like go on a date with, not to go have a fun party with, to be together forever for the rest of your life. Married life. Which one? Are we going Luann? Are we going Shannon? Are we going Ashley or Giselle? I guess it depends. I think I'd have to go Luann. To me, she's the smoke show of them all. So fun. Go on tour with her. Be her stage manager, if you know what I mean. Chic, c'est la vie. C'est bon. Okay. So, oh my God, that's so funny. Maddie says they should make them couple up and sleep in the same bed like on Love Island. Oh my God, think about how many CPAP machines are on the Golden Bachelor. I need to ask Lance that. I wonder how many men go into the bachelor house and need to bring CPAP machines. Like, think about it. When you're in your 50s and up, the chances that you have a CPAP machine are like incredibly higher than when you're in your 30s or 20s. Very interesting. Oh yeah, some of the Miami girls would be really fun. Alexia, I could just like see her just getting very stressed and crazy. Alexia and Adriana, and they would fight. They would fight over the guys. Okay, let's move on. Another story. Real Housewives of New Jersey. So, a couple things. This morning, Andy Cohen answered some questions on his radio show. And one of the questions was, will I think one of the callers said something along the lines of, the show is so boring. This caller was a very pro Teresa caller. She said, I will watch Teresa all the time. Teresa always has something going on, but I am so sick of the Melissa storyline. I'm so sick of the Joe Gorga storyline. Like, we need to do something. And Andy Cohen, for the first time, not only said like some things are going to change, but he fully said, we are doing we're going to see fresh faces. We're doing a reboot. And I believe, in my opinion, I believe that, as sad as it is, because I think a lot of us kind of grew up with some of these people. And, I was watching, there was not a reunion, a marathon over the weekend of Jersey. So seasons 8 and 7, I was watching a little bit of those. And this is the season like when Teresa's Juicy Joe was in jail and she was home alone with her kids. And remember, her hairline started here. And she was it was such a different show. Like, this one episode I saw, Melissa came over and brought cupcakes, and their relationship was not great ever, right? We know that, but it really was a little bit of, it did feel like a more of a unified show. So as sad as it is to say goodbye to people that you feel like you've known for years and years and years, I think we can all agree that at this point, what it feels like when we're watching the show is like a towel that is so almost fully dry, and you're trying to squeeze out any more liquid. You're trying to squeeze anything out of that towel to give you a little bit of something. And really, we have nothing. And this episode, the fact is that 30 minutes of the episode last night was the men. And that's not really, I understand that the Jersey men are a big part of the show, but I'm not into the Jersey men. Like, I don't want to watch the Jersey men. That's not a show I want to sit down and watch when I watch Housewives. I don't need to see men like eating steak and like taking shots. Like, I want to watch the women. I want to watch what's going on with them. I like seeing, for example, I really like seeing Rachel Fuda and her kids. I like seeing those stories. I like seeing Danielle and her stories. Like, I like some of these younger housewives, and I think that they would be a great, like, I would love for them to keep them on the show. But I don't think that they can do it anymore. I don't think it would make sense to keep Danielle and Rachel and just throw them in with a whole new group. I think they have to completely recast it. On last night's episode, you realize that in addition to 30 minutes of like really cringy male bonding, and we'll get into a little bit of what happened in last night's episode with the devotionals in the podcast studio. In addition to that, all we had was one group trying to get everyone to not go to the other group's house so that they could sit there and just like talk shit about one of the girls. It's so not enjoyable in any way. You're talking about lawsuits, you're talking about real lives, you're talking about stalking, harassment, um, restraining orders. We're talking about some pretty heavy shit. And it's not for fun. And Teresa is withering away. And some would say Ozempic, and some would say stress. But you see that in this episode. You see that she is so stressed out about this. Like, this is crazy that she keeps inviting this shit into her life. Enough is enough. In last night's episode, excuse me. Why didn't I bring my water today? Huh? All I have is coffee. In last night's episode, we had just more of the same in terms of the two parties. And I guess what's supposed to happen is that they're all supposed to go on this house trip together, but this house burns down. Like, legitimately in the Berkshires, this house burned down and they cannot do this trip anymore, which is why they end up doing this final dinner, which we saw in the previews that it turns into fucking hell. But I felt for Margaret in last night's episode because she goes out to lunch with Jen Fessler. And I mean, I know all of these women are on Ozempic, but like, I want to vomit watching Jen Fessler, who's the size of a toothpick, order cheeseburgers and fries and milkshakes. I'm like, this is what happens when you're on Ozempic. You can just eat whatever. It's so interesting because I have a girlfriend that's on Ozempic and she orders whatever she wants. She orders whatever she wants. It's the craziest thing. And she loses weight, like, constant. So anyway, the two of them are eating at a restaurant and Jen tells Marge, I was invited to Teresa's house. And they're close, right? She's like, oh, by the way, I was invited to Teresa's house because she's going to have her attorney there. And she wants the attorney to share with us some damning information about you. I'm sorry. If I'm Marge, I'm like, you've got to be effing joking. And if you're my friend, you're not going. Like, anyone that's a friend to Marge should not be going to that house to go to like sit and hear some damning evidence. The whole thing just felt so wrong. And you know me, I'm not like a huge Marge fan in general, but like, this really did not feel right. It felt wrong to me. So Jen actually cancels on going. Dolores is the one that always plays the middle. And she's like, I'm just going to go and see what I hear. Okay. I just want to know what I hear. I just want to know what she has to say. I think they just want all the gossip, right? And then, of course, we have Danielle, who went, and Jen Aiden, duh. And then Gia, who's the seventh housewife. It's like really strange and doesn't make any sense. But before all of that, before this final like revealing, oh my God, your head's going to spin. Oh my God, you're never going to understand what's going on. This is shocking to you information that actually was the biggest want letdown. Earlier we had, the man versus man parties. It's a joke. So now you can't even get the women all together, but now you can't get the men all together. Like, give it up. And which house would you rather be at? Joe Gorga's house, where it looks at least fun, and they have porterhouse steaks, like steaks the size of my desk, and huge crabs and lobsters and like all this. I mean, they had a big banner in the back of a party. They were doing ice luge shots. Like it looked like such a party. Or would you rather go to Louis's house where you go into his podcast room with his dad? And all the people that went to Louis's were Jen Aiden's Bill Aiden, the plastic surgeon, who is hard enough for me to watch, and Polly. And they go into this podcast room and they sit and they start to do devotionals to their wives. And when I tell you, I never have felt so uncomfortable. I felt so, I said, this is the lowest we can ever go. This is the, are, are they going away to prison? Why are we giving these like goodbye speeches to their women? They were supposed to go out of town for like a weekend. Oh, let's do these speeches so that they can play them. These videos, they can play them in front of the other women. So the other women are going to be like, wow, you really have great men. So, Louis, babe, I just want to tell you, I love you. I love our life. I really wish my face was red for this. I love you. I love our wife. I love our life. I love my wife. I love you. I always remember that. Then Bill goes and he goes, oh, Jenny. I'm sorry. Is this? I thought he was breaking out in song. I thought he had a whole song planned. Hi, Jenny. I love you, babe. Thank you. Okay. And then Polly, he goes, thank you so much, Dolores, for being there for me. Okay, bye. The worst devotionals I've ever heard from three men. This is the moment when you're sitting behind a microphone and this is what you have to say. Thank you so much for everything you do. Bye. Okay. Really ridiculous. Then on the other side of town, John Fuda almost dies. This whole scene was so wild and unexpected. He took a shot, more like a gallon of a shot from a bone marrow ice luge, basically. Bone marrow, which has a hole in it, and they're drinking shots out of it. And he takes it and they're like, yeah, yeah. And they're all drunk. They're all playing poker. They're doing man things, cigars, poker, steak. And all of a sudden, John's like, I can't breathe. Hold on, hold on. Now, I don't know about you guys. Uh, there's nothing more annoying to me than a man that is so like, I'm too strong for the doctor. I don't need to go to the doctor. I don't need your help. I can handle this. Literally, they have a gunshot wound in their arm and they're like, give me a band aid. I'm good. John Fuda is literally dying in front of our very eyes. Joe is Joe Benigno. Joe is the one that I want to be with in times of trouble. This guy all of a sudden sobered up in 2 seconds. Marge's husband, Joe, he's like, oh, let's have everyone, we have to go to the hospital. He's having an anaphylactic reaction. We got to go. We got to go now. Listen to me right now. Joe is who I want in charge when there's an emergency. Joe Gorga, on the other hand, I want him very far away because as John Fuda is literally dying of an allergic reaction before the paramedics come, Joe Gorga is pissing in a toilet next to him. And when I tell you, nothing grosses me out more than sitting in a same room while a man, I mean, it's just gross. Like stuff is going everywhere when you pee. Okay. The point is, I love Joe Benigno. I decided that he is my father figure on that show, not Louis in the pajamas. And John Fuda ended up being okay, but he definitely had a big scare there. I don't know what he's allergic to. But for anyone that has allergies, I'm glad that they actually had a Joe Benigno there to, actually call 911 because it's no joke. And then they fed all the paramedics meat. I mean, it worked out. I would have chosen the Gorga house. Now, when we go over to Teresa's house for this breakfast with Jim Leonard, this guy walks in. You can't cast a cheesier, more smarmy, more shady looking attorney. You can't cast him. He just fell off of casting, backstage.com of the cheesy lawyer from New Jersey. He looks like he could be he's playing like in a murder mystery as the lawyer. He comes over and he says, we're going to have this conversation. I've been with Teresa's family for a long time. And even when I took her to prison, when I walked her into prison, she wasn't as stressed as she is now. So all they're doing is kind of walking around the story because they can't really talk about the story because there's so many lawsuits in place. But essentially, without having been one of these crazy New Jersey bloggers that like obsesses over this is what I gather. Louis had an ex-wife who had some sort of restraining order against Louis. They were suing each other back and forth. Obviously, a very tumultuous relationship or ending of a relationship. Louis was not allowed to mention her name. She was not allowed to mention Louis's name. But for the last few years, as Teresa and Marge have kind of, combusted as friends, Teresa has kept saying to Marge in public spaces multiple times in the show, that's why you're having conversations with Louis's exes. That's why you're talking to people in Louis's life. And Marge keeps kind of saying, what are you talking about? No, I'm not. Now, do I believe that Marge has had conversations with people in Louis's life? 1000%. 1000%. I really do not believe that Marge is not or has not ever spoken to someone in Louis's life. I think Marge got it in her. I think these people live and breathe and die for this drama. And I think she was like, I'm taking Louis down. Now, all this whole meeting with the attorney was for the attorney to say, and not for Teresa to say, that yes, we have proof that Marge has connected with Louis's ex. The way that the whole group was like, yeah, and oh, okay. Yeah, we knew. Like, no one was shocked by that. Now, what people were loving, and Danielle was my favorite, was when there was a knock at the door. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. It's a man bringing a funeral flower, like, arrangement, one of those that you stick on the floor right next to a dead body. And all it says, and this Marge probably spent $300 on this thing, at least. And all it said on a big note was, Teresa and Louis, I'm sorry for the loss of your dignity, Marge and Joe. And Danielle said it best. That is the most gangsta thing I ever saw. I love Danielle's confessionals. I think she's really good at them. So it was over. That meeting ended. Jim Leonard, cheesy mafia attorney, was like, "Gotta go. Love you, Teresa." I mean, he's on Teresa's payroll. He'll never, ever. And he apparently is the one that's been emailing and messaging all the bloggers, threatening them, doing this. He's just as shady as all of them. Get this shit off our TV. It's dark. It's dirt. You're dirty. You're dirty. It's dark. It's dirty. And we have to just move to the next. We have to move to the next. Jersey's filled, as Ramona Singer knows, Jersey's filled with a lot of amazing talent. Let's get into Jersey the next generation. I'm done. And if it's not, Snooki, JWoww, and Angelina, I don't want it. Literally, just marry the two. Jersey Shore and Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's all we want. Love, love, love. Yeah, she's wrote love, 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 Marge. Love, love, love. Anyway, I love, love, love you guys. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here, subscribing, liking the feed, putting the alerts on, telling your friends, subscribing to Patreon, subscribing to members only, leaving a 5-star rating review, and all of the above. I love you guys. Love, love, love. Love. Bye, guys.